Hello from beautiful Edinburgh. My name is Jenny. Welcome to The Bear and the Fox. I'm back today with another roundup of our favourite picture books, and today's theme is autumn. So let's get started. So today I wanted to share our favourite picture books with you for welcoming autumn, and you can't do a seasonal book roundup without mentioning Jill Barklim's Brambley Hedge series. I've loved these books since I was a kid. There's spring, summer, autumn and winter. And in Autumn Story there is lots of bramble picking and berry picking, and in the course of all this, little Primrose Mouse gets lost and goes on a bit of an adventure, and then the other mice set out with a search party to find her, and all is well that ends well. Next, I have a couple of apple themed books for you, because when autumn comes around, everyone seems to go crazy for apples. Apple picking, apple pie, and the first one is actually called Apple Pie ABC, and it's about a little dog and the apple pie that he so desperately wants to eat. And it starts with A for apple pie, and it goes on with B, bake it, C, cool it, D, dish it out, all the way to the end of the alphabet. Exit quickly, yum yum, and then zzz, go to sleep dreaming of apple pie. Next we have Bad Apple, a beautiful story about friendship, and in it Mac the apple and Will the worm become the best of friends, but the other apples keep teasing and taunting Mac and giving him a really hard time, to the point where one night Will the worm leaves him because he doesn't want his friend to feel bad all the time. But of course it doesn't make Mac feel any better because he dearly misses his friends, and you will be happy to know that they reunite at the end of the book when Mac realises that he would rather be a bad apple with Will than a sad apple without him. Back to apple pie. In How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World, there's a girl who wants to make apple pie, but the market is closed, so she ends up traveling all around the world to gather her ingredients. So she goes to France to get some chickens to lay the eggs for her apple pie, and she goes to get some cinnamon in Sri Lanka, and so on, and eventually she makes it back home and she bakes her apple pie. And if you too would like to make an apple pie, quite handily there is a lovely recipe at the back of the book, which we haven't tried yet, but we are planning to give it a go this autumn. Last of the apple books, we have Johnny Appleseed. Now, I first heard about John Chapman, known as Johnny Appleseed, when I spent some time in the US as a student. He was a pioneer and missionary who introduced apple trees to large parts of the US, and he was known for his kind and generous nature. And Johnny Appleseed is a poem about him. There are many different publications of this poem, and I particularly like this one just for the beautiful pictures. Just to show you a few. So here's one, and here's another. Here's a full page spread. This is quite a long picture book. There's quite a lot of text in it, so it's probably one for slightly older kids, but it is really beautiful and it does feel really autumnal, and I really do recommend it. Moving on from apples to pumpkins, the other star of the autumn orchard, starting with The Rollaway Pumpkin. This story is about a little girl who, on a windy autumn day, lets go of her pumpkin, and it starts rolling away down the hill and through the town, and she goes chasing after it, and she gathers all these people along the way who help her chase the pumpkin. There's a farmer and a milkman and a baker and all sorts. So here they all are chasing the pumpkin. So what happens to the pumpkin in the end? Will they catch it? You will have to read this book to find out. Next we have The Last Pumpkin. A Tale of Bravery. This story is set in a pumpkin patch, and it features Henry, the littlest pumpkin in the patch, and Henry is really worried that he won't get picked for the Harvest Festival. And his friends try to reassure him that that's not going to happen. But mean old Spooky, the Scarecrow, does his best to sabotage things. So come the day before the Harvest Festival, poor little Henry is left all alone, the last pumpkin not to be picked. This time I won't keep you in suspense, and you'll be happy to know that there is a happy ending. But you will have to read the book if you want to find out how that happy ending comes about. Moving on from the last pumpkin to the ugly pumpkin. This is another story set in a pumpkin patch featuring a pumpkin waiting to be picked. This time he's waiting to be picked for Halloween. But he doesn't get chosen because everybody thinks he is too ugly to be a Halloween pumpkin. So understandably, he is very sad and feels very rejected, until eventually he realizes that he is in fact not an ugly pumpkin. He is a beautiful squash, and he is just perfect for Thanksgiving. Our last pumpkin book is actually about pumpkin soup. It features Cat, Duck and Squirrel, three friends who cook pumpkin soup together every day, and they each have a very specific task. So Cat always slices the pumpkin, Squirrel stirs in the water, and Duck adds the salt. Here they are making soup together, until one day Duck decides that he wants to be the one who does the stirring, and a lot of chaos and a lot of fighting ensues, and things get a bit out of hand. But don't worry, they sort it all out in the end. This is a lovely autumnal story, all about friendship and all about sharing. Last but not least is a book that is neither about apples nor about pumpkins. In fact, it doesn't explicitly mention autumn at all, but you will have to agree that Maggie's Mittens definitely has an autumnal feel about it. Just look at all those autumn leaves on the front cover, and also there's a wee red squirrel here which you need to try and find in every scene of the book. So Maggie's Mittens is about a wee girl who travels around Scotland trying to get rid of the itchy mittens she no longer wants to wear. So here she is in Edinburgh, and again there's lots of autumn leaves blowing through the scene on this page, and there's lots of other places she visits in Scotland, and then at the very end they all gather round a cozy fire at Granny's place, and I don't think it gets any more autumnal than that. I also just wanted to add that Coo Clayton, who wrote this book, also lives here in Edinburgh, and I had the chance to interview her a couple of months ago. So if you would like to read that interview, you can find it on my blog. I will pop the link to that in the notes below. And that's all we have time for today. I do hope that you enjoyed our autumn favourites. If you know of any other great autumn picture books, then please feel free to leave a comment. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please do like this video and subscribe to my channel. I hope you all have a great autumn, and I will see you next time. Bye!